What's going on, everybody? This is the Ball Up Top Podcast YouTube show. I'm your host, Mike. We're running a series we're calling the Kevin Durant Sweepstakes. For those of you who don't know, Kevin Durant asked for a trade, and I'm of the opinion that when a guy at that level with 4 years on his deal asks for a trade, that every team in the NBA should at least kick the tires and try to ask what's going on, like see if they can cut a deal. That being said, this episode is going to be about the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Bucks, to some degree, make more sense than anybody to try to make this deal. Well, Brooklyn's asking price, which the Bucks don't have all of, is excuse me, is an all-star caliber player, an up-and-coming player, and draft picks. Probably looking around that 4 or 5 range for picks. So the Bucks, who lost to the Celtics, um, in the lost the Celtics. They played hard and went 7 games. They were without Chris Middleton. Our championship ready-made team. So let's just start. We'll go ahead and start with moving Durant over to the Bucks. Now, the Bucks have all-star caliber players. Obviously, they are not going to trade Giannis. That's not even in the world of conversation. But they do have Chris Middleton and they do have Drew Holiday. They don't have a lot for draft picks. If you go here and look, looking at the draft picks, because they still are paying on the trading of Drew Holiday. So 24, New Orleans has the right to swap that. They don't have their 25, 26. New Orleans has the right to swap that. They don't have 27. They can't trade 28. So the only pick that they can trade is 28. They could swap 29. That's pretty much it. What I if I am them, what I'm doing is this. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna trade Chris Middleton. And I'm gonna trade Drew Holiday. Now that price is steep. I've given them 2 players that are borderline all-stars for Kevin Durant. I'm also going to trade that 29 first round pick. Now the difference is when you look at the cap space, the, the Brooklyn can't take in 71 million, giving away 30. Like Brooklyn can't afford that, so they're going to have to come out of some other money. Now this is where it allows Brooklyn to be creative in that we know that they're going to have to get rid of 20 to 30 million. The easy answer is saying either look, they can get rid of Ben Simmons or they can get rid of Kyrie Irving. I know they're holding out for draft compensation for Kyrie, and we've already talked about that Milwaukee doesn't have that. But Milwaukee, as I said, Milwaukee is giving them 2 borderline all-stars. So it really comes to decide is how much do they believe in Ben Simmons? Was Ben Simmons to them just the vehicle to get a James Harden trade done? Or is Ben Simmons to them somebody that they are intangibly just like viewing as huge for their future? Milwaukee doesn't really have a choice for this. Milwaukee would love to have Kyrie. It's about floor balance. Simmons and Giannis essentially are very much the same type of player when it comes to skill set. Well, to a degree. Simmons is a better ball handler, probably a better passer. Um, they're both very different defenders, but I would call them equals. Giannis is not scared of shooting outside jumpers, and Giannis is far more aggressive. Like Giannis is just not scared. So it really comes down to like, what do they want to do? I mean, but let's say that they're going to try to keep Kyrie and Ben. Like, let's say they feel like that's giving too much. They could move Joe Harris, who Joe Harris, like, though he's coming off that ankle surgery and missing the time and he's on the wrong side of 30, he's a good outside shooter. I mean, it's considering the shooting the Bucks gave away, like that's pretty positive. And so that puts us at 62. We're still about 5 million short. They're not going to do Cam Thomas. They're not going to do LeBron Sharp. A lot of these guys they just resigned. I mean, they could do Seth Curry. I mean, do I? I think it ends up being a little much, but they've already re-signed Patty Mills, so they can't do him. Like they're really kind of limited. So we're gonna put in Seth Curry, and what we're gonna say is this: the Bucks are gonna have to give up Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. They're also gonna have to give up their 29 first round pick, and then on top of that, anything like the 28, that's going to be a swap. And probably there's going to be around like I would say a good 4 to 5 second rounders. And I'm just going to move them over. I don't really know what year we're talking. Like that, when we start worry about negotiating second round picks, kind of missed the point. But they don't have much for a draft. That's the only thing that hurts them from doing this deal. But my thing is this: if you look at the Bucks, you're going to give them Durant, Joe Harris, Seth Curry, all this outside shooting around with Giannis. I feel like they'll more than make up for Middleton and Drew Holiday. I mean, it's going to hurt them on defense. They are going to have to rely way more on George Hill and Grayson Allen than ever before for ball handling. So that I mean, Seth Curry might end up becoming a pseudo point guard. But you're coupling Kevin Durant with Giannis, which might be the most unstoppable duo in the league. If you're Brooklyn, you said that you wanted to make a deal to keep yourselves competitive. You still have Kyrie, you still have Ben Simmons, then you have Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. I understand that's 4 all-star caliber players. I know Simmons is low on people right now, but at 25, he's been an all-star. He's still an all-star caliber player. That's 4 of them. They could if they gelled, they could beat anybody with that team. And that's why I look at this trade as it's something nobody's talked about and probably no one will talk about because I can't imagine the Bucks wanting to uh, upset the apple cart. But when you look at it, it's really intriguing for both sides. Like a really intriguing move. And the idea of putting Durant and Giannis together, oh my goodness. Like we would never seen anything like this. So let's see if it works. Let's see if it works or if we're gonna have to rework this deal. And financially it works. And it's the price for player personnel for Brooklyn is high. For draft picks, not as much. The price for the Nets is high when it comes to players. Specifically because the Joe Harris deal like works because they look at it, it's like, okay, we have this Joe Harris deal. We don't know what we're getting back. The Seth Curry though, that one, he's a great outside shooter. He's an expiring contract. That one is the one I might be a pill too bitter for the Nets to swallow. But that's it for this episode. Kevin Durant Sweepstakes, Ball Up Top YouTube show. I was your host, Mike. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. We try to get back to all of you guys, and whether it's here on YouTube or on social media. Our Instagram is at Ball Up Top Podcast. Our Twitter is at Ball Up Top Pod. The podcast itself is going to make more of a comeback closer to the season. We're working on some things. Hope to hear from you guys. Peace.